Hey guys, what's going on? Dr. Frank here, founder of AddictionMindset recovery coaching programs. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the question, can marijuana become physically addictive? A lot of people talk about weed and they say, oh, you can't get physically addicted to it, only psychologically can you become addicted. And the answer to that is simply false. Here at Addiction Mindset Recovery Coaching, we help people quit nicotine, THC, energy drinks, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So be sure to subscribe and like this video if you find value in it, okay? So let's start by getting first a definition of addiction versus dependence. And I'm going to read this to you, okay? What is an addiction? Great question. It's a health condition in which you have strong cravings for a certain substance. These cravings occur due to physical changes in your brain after repeated exposure to the drug. This leads to uncontrolled use, which can eventually impact your relationships, your career, your finances, your motivation, your health, physically and mentally. Okay? It becomes a very self-destructive behavior. Now, I want you guys to think, do you guys know anyone who's experiencing self-destructive behaviors due to their THC usage? Maybe this is you. I fell into this category at one point in life. Certainly, if we're talking about Cannabinoid Hyperemesis Syndrome, where people are vomiting, getting sick, throwing up, having body pain, that's an extremely self-destructive behavior to be stuck in. Now, what is dependence? So while addiction is classified as a disease, dependence is a state of being physically dependent upon a substance. Addiction is rooted in your brain, but dependence occurs when your body as a whole becomes used to the effects of a certain substance or drug, and it goes into withdrawal when you stop using that. Now, I don't even need to read any further, because has anyone here ever tried to take a tolerance break or tried to quit smoking weed? Did you experience withdrawal symptoms? And a simple Google search can prove this for you on many of the pro 420 websites, which I'm very pro 420, but you're going to experience, or at least some people are, they're going to experience insomnia. They're going to experience nausea. They're going to experience anxiety. They're going to experience depression. They're going to experience sweating. A lot of people, when they stop using marijuana, especially carts, both medical grade and black market, especially black market, experience very physical symptoms of withdrawal because they've developed a dependence on the substance. Now, in order for you to understand how does this happen with marijuana, you have to have knowledge of how cannabis works once it's consumed within your body. And I'm going to give you a very, very brief overview of that. So your body has something called the endocannabinoid system. And your brain actually makes its own cannabinoids. THC is a cannabinoid found in the cannabis plant. Therefore, we call it a phytocannabinoid. Phyto meaning from a plant, okay? So when you smoke marijuana, you're consuming a phytocannabinoid THC. That phytocannabinoid THC binds to receptors in your body's endocannabinoid system, a system that runs off of the production of cannabinoids. THC directly binds to the CB1 receptors, I think it's the CB1, in your gut, on your cardiac tissue, on your central nervous system. Physically, it binds to receptors on your brainstem, on your spinal cord, on your nervous system. And then that activates this endocannabinoid system, which regulates things like sleep, mood, hunger, emotions, pain, bone growth. It regulates all of these things. Now, why is this relevant? You see, your body produces its own endocannabinoids. So when you're experiencing stress, when you're experiencing joy and happiness, your body, in reaction to those emotions, will produce endocannabinoids. Endo meaning from within. It makes its own THC, except in the body, this is abbreviated as ANA or anandamide. And this structure is very, very similar to the phytocannabinoid THC. Now, why does this become a problem potentially? And you feel free to disagree with me in the comments. I'm happy to hear if I'm saying something incorrectly or if I'm wrong. When your body's flooded with a source of phytocannabinoids, something not from within, your body's going to downregulate its own production of its own cannabinoids because it says, wait a minute, I have enough cannabinoids, so I'm going to stop making my own. And then what happens is you quit smoking weed and all of a sudden your sleep isn't regular anymore. Your appetite is all screwed up. You're nauseous. You might be experiencing brain fog or psychosis, dissociation-like symptoms. And I believe firmly this has to do with your body trying to recreate balance because it's saying, wait a minute, I'm not making my own endocannabinoids anymore because you're getting them from a plant. But now you're not getting them from a plant anymore. So your body's saying, wait a second, what's going on? I suddenly now have to start making my own endocannabinoids again. And this is where things get tricky for people because they start to experience withdrawals. Now, another reason why you experience withdrawals from cannabis is because every time you use THC, your body releases dopamine. And dopamine is that neurotransmitter that makes you feel good, but it's also the neurotransmitter that reinforces a behavior. So your brain is saying, I want more dopamine. I want my dopamine back. And last I recall, I was getting dopamine from using cannabis. It forgot that it also gets dopamine from healthy relationships. It forgot that it gets dopamine from exercising. It forgot that it gets dopamine from working on your goals, your passions, your hobbies, the things that give you real purpose in life. So now you start to enter this phase of withdrawals. And here we have the definition of a physical addiction. And if I'm speaking to you right now and this is adding up, yes, their physical addiction to cannabis is 100% a reality, and it's something we need to educate people on. We have someone whose finances, someone whose career, someone whose relationships, someone whose quality of life is suffering due to a physical addiction that they have to a substance that directly binds to physical areas within their body that has a direct physical impact on the endocannabinoid system and its functioning. This is especially true if we're talking to someone who's younger, under the age of 25, where it's believed that the endocannabinoid system at that point is not even fully developed. So who knows what long-term chronic cannabis use actually looks like in that individual. I'm not the right guy to give you those answers, nor do I care to do that research because I find it boring. All I care about is your quality of life. And if you're suffering with an addiction, I want to help you out. You don't need research to tell you that your quality of life is poor. It either is or it isn't right now. And if smoking cannabis is a large part of your routine, you might need to consider changing that routine, even though that's a hard thing to accept. So what can you do to navigate this? Let's say you are quitting cannabis and you watched my other videos on developing the correct mindset for overcoming cannabis addiction. What are some other things that you can do that can naturally stimulate your endocannabinoid system? Well, did you know that there's 5 things that are structurally similar to a cannabis high? Thing number 1 would be catnip, but we're not going to eat catnip. Thing number 2 would be the runner's high. The runner's high has been shown to produce natural cannabinoids. Okay, that's not just a theory anymore. Thing number 3 would be love. Being in a relationship, participating in a loving relationship releases oxytocin. This is a hormone that plays a crucial role as part of your endocannabinoid system. So taking on and partaking in relationships that bring you joy, that bring you happiness. Whether this is a sexual relationship with a significant other, or it's just a family, friendly, fun relationship with a friend or a family member. Chocolate has also been shown to naturally increase your endocannabinoids. And lastly, cheese. Cheese has been correlated to a healthier endocannabinoid system. Now, there's a few other things as well. Healthy fatty acids, omega-3 fatty acids commonly found in fish oil. For those of you guys that are curious, I linked some fish oil products in the description below. Having a healthy balance of omega-6 fatty acids and omega-3 fatty acids, which are needed. Omega-6 fatty acids are needed for the production of endocannabinoids. Omega-3 fatty acids help to balance that. So you can find that in things like fish oil and certain nut butters. It's a source of fats. Herbs and teas, okay? Lemon balm, hops, cloves, cinnamon, and several other herbs. It says stimulates your CB2 receptors. And then, of course, the stress relieving activities, okay? So these are, like, I think the most important things you can do when you are going through cannabis withdrawal and struggling with cannabis recovery. Social interaction, unstructured playtime, meditation, yoga, massage. I think one of the best things you can do. Osteopathic or chiropractic manipulation. Yes, the cracking of your bones does stimulate chemical changes within your body that seems to impact your endocannabinoid system. Acupuncture, deep breathing exercise, and any voluntary enjoyable exercise. If you are quitting a marijuana addiction or a cannabis addiction, yes, quitting is one thing. But if you want to actually feel good in your recovery and your sobriety, you have to start to do things that are going to promote the healing of your endocannabinoid system. And this is just a simple list of things. I put links in the description below to all of these articles that are going to naturally help stimulate your endocannabinoid system and give you the best chance at not having terrible withdrawal and having, in my opinion, the best recovery process possible from cannabis addiction. So I hope that, like, puts the lid on the argument, can cannabis be physically addictive or not? Of course it can. It has very physical, very real side effects once consumed in your body. Some extremely beneficial. In other cases for people, they might be very negative. And it's time we start to talk about that and we accept that, because with the Pro 420 movement, the best thing we can do for cannabis and for the future forward momentum that this 420 movement has is be real about the consequences of addiction and be real about what people can do to get help who are struggling. Remember, the person struggling with cannabis addiction that was once me, they are just as much as part of our 420 community as those people who are currently still smoking on the regular. I hope this video helps you guys out. Follow me into the next video where I talk a little bit about, should you quit cannabis? Should you consider quitting? Let's find out. I'll see you there.